Hi, today we will talk about Alberta Opportunities stream. Great opportunity for people who are professionals who have experience either in Alberta or outside Alberta, could be in Canada, could be abroad, anywhere. And this stream is also great for students who are on postgraduate work permit who have completed their studies from Alberta. There is a shorter path for those. And this is an employer driven program whereby you need to employ a job offer in order to qualify for this specific program. And we'll talk about those things as well. The CLB requirements are pretty low. I mean, overall, a really good program. And all tiers, tier 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are eligible other than the ineligible occupation list. I have also created many other videos on my YouTube channel related to immigration pathways, and I think you might like them as well. So if you did like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you're notified anytime I put up a new video for you. So my name is Sandhu and I'm a CICC licensed immigration consultant based out of Ontario, Canada. So let's dive right into it. So here is the overview. So the Alberta Opportunity Stream is for temporary foreign workers who are already full-time in Alberta and have a full-time job offer from an Alberta employer in eligible occupations. So candidates could be either on LMIA based work permit, or they can be on a LMA exempt work permit, which could be an employer work permit, or it could also be on a postgraduate work permit if you are a graduate from eligible postgraduate program from Alberta, right? Plus, there are many other requirements as well related to work permit type, occupation, language, education, job offer, work experience. So we'll talk about all of them. So let's first start with the residency and work permit requirements. See, at the time of your application and at the time your application is assessed, so you must have a temporary resident status. So it doesn't mean that you are on an implied status or on a maintained status, but you have a proper work permit at the time you were working or you are authorized to work in Canada. So some of the valid work permits could be an LMIA based work permit or an LMA exempt work permit, which could, they have mentioned a couple of them like international trade agreements, international experience Canada, intra-company transfer, and then francophone mobility, and then maybe on uh, IRPR 205D for religious workers, or you could also be an open work permit for related to vulnerable workers, right? And if you have studied from eligible post-secondary institution in Alberta, you could also be on a open work permit, right? But they've also mentioned the kind of programs we will discuss later, which might be eligible. The good part is that most occupations under tier category 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 are eligible, right? And the ones which are not eligible, so here is the list, current list. They might change, so always refer to the website for the latest list. So you can see that there are only very few occupations which are not eligible. So these includes, for example, teachers, secondary school teachers, elementary school teachers, uh, you know, um, early child educators who do not have certification, right, or who are not certified. And then you have real estate agents, salespersons, home child care providers, and those kind of lists. You can always look into the list. And then look at the language requirements. They're pretty low, right? If you are if your job offer is for tier 0, 1, 2, or 3, then all you need is CLB 5. And for English, for IELTS, the CLB 5 translates to a score of 4 in reading and 5 in writing, listening, and speaking. And if it is the job offer is in occupation 4 or 5, then the requirement is even lower, just CLB 4. But they have made one particular note on for nurse aides. For them, the CLB requirement is 7, even though it falls under tier 3, because maybe they deal with patients and they want to make sure that you kind of hear the patients properly and take the necessary action. Education requirements: all you need is grade 12. That's pretty much what you need. And if you're a postgraduate work permit holder, let's say you studied from Alberta, then your credential must be an Alberta Advanced Education Approved credential. So some of the eligible Alberta Advanced Education Approved credentials after April 1st, 2019 are post diploma certificate, minimum 1 year in length, And diploma program, minimum 2 years in length, undergrad, bachelor's degree, graduate level degree, graduate level certificate, or graduate level diploma. So 1 year diploma after grade 12 would not work, right? So that's the whole, kind of crux of it. And then you have work experience requirements. So at the time of your application is submitted, either of the two you should have. Either you should have a minimum of 12 months of full-time work experience in your current occupation in Alberta within the last 18 months. But if you're outside Alberta, which could be either in Canada or abroad, you need minimum 2 years of full-time work experience in your current occupation in Canada or abroad within the last 30 months. For postgraduate work permit holders, where we are specifically talking about people who have studied from Alberta and got the postgraduate because of the study in Alberta. So for those, do you require a minimum of 6 months full-time work experience in your current occupation in Alberta within the last 18 months? The requirement is pretty low. I mean, super low. And your occupation must also be related to your field of study in Alberta. And the other thing is, for all applicants, the work experience in the qualifying period must have been a full-time, minimum 30 hours per week. So that's what is the definition of a full-time is 30 hours per week. Must be the same occupation as your current occupation. Must have been authorized by IRCC and with valid temporary residence status if you are in Alberta or in Canada. So cannot be gained while studying or doing co-op work permit placements. But there is an exception to that. If you have done your co-op and from an Alberta post-secondary institution, then you need to meet the following three conditions, which is that it has to be paid and full-time, minimum 30 hours per week, for work experience directly related to your current occupation, and for work experience all gained in Alberta. So these are some of the requirements. Then you have eligible job offer. Obviously, the job offer has to be bona fide from an Alberta employer. There's a definition of Alberta employer. Alberta employer must be incorporated or registered by or under an act of legislature of a province, territory, or the Parliament of Canada, and operating as a business that has an established production capability, plant, or place of business in Alberta. And then there are job offer requirements. It must be signed by you and your employer and must offer continuous paid work, full-time work defined as minimum 30 hours per week, employment for 12 months or more, and work in your current occupation. Apart from that, you also need to meet or exceed the requirements set out in your LMI as per wages are concerned. And if you are LMI exempt, then you must your wage must exceed the lowest starting wage for your occupation across all industries in Alberta, right? So those are some of the conditions. So how do you apply? You apply through the online portal, which is AAIP online portal. You complete your applications, submit the documents, and then you pay the $500 fee. And if your application is approved, then you are nominated and you will become a provincial nominee and get a nomination package by email. And after you get your AAIP nomination, then you must apply to IRCC as soon as possible. And your nomination is only valid for 6 months. So you must apply to, non-express entry PR application within the 6 months after getting the nomination. Apart from that, there are other things. For example, if your work permit is expiring, you might even get a work permit support letter after your nomination is approved, and that might help you to get the extension as well. Apart from other things, which is like, for example, if you want to extend your LMIA, feel free to do so, or you are on an LMI exempt work permit, and if you have a chance to extend that, that might be another option. And if you're on bridging, if you can get a bridging open work permit, that is another option as well. So if you need any help, my number is 437-848-7200. You can book an appointment by visiting my website, which is www.dilimmigration.com. Apart from that, I have a YouTube channel, and most probably you are actually watching on the YouTube. And the handle is at DIL Sandhu Talks, where you will find many, many videos related to immigration programs, pathways, and I think you should check them out, and that will be really helpful to you. And please do subscribe to the channel, because I've been, regularly posting and updating, new information and talking about different programs, which people find it useful generally. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day.